hath risen from the dead.
I have returned.
Mark has returned. Return of the King. Not quite as good looking as Viggo Mortensen.
How dare you?
No offence.
Okay, I was going to put in some witty comment about... we'll cut that bit. That's fine. Keep going.
Cool. Yes. If you don't know the score and you didn't listen to episode 1.5, we've both been quite unwell. Mark more so. He's won that game. But we needed to take a few more weeks just to sort of get ourselves match fit, which is the important thing, because if you're not match fit, then there's just absolutely no point sitting down and recording a podcast.
Indeed, yeah. I think we'll spare you all the gory details, but it's been a pretty rough couple of weeks for both of us. But finally, back on track.
Yes,
so,
let's get going.
Looking at, as always, we kind of wing this thing. We don't really have a script as such, but we have notes. And as we've been off for 3, maybe 4 weeks by the time this episode appears, the notes have been getting longer and longer. So there is a lot to cover. Some of which is probably going to be already out of date in terms of quote unquote breaking news. But let's just go with it. So
I mean, the only reason people listen to this is for our opinions, so it doesn't matter if it's breaking or not. Let's face it.
That's true. They're here for the insightful.
Oh yeah,
insightful opinions.
Okay, so first off, the first note that we have here is Squid Game 2 is official. That was months ago.
Oh God, Christ, yes, that was a long time ago. So. Long story short, great news. Loved Squid Game. I don't think it's really a surprise, right? It was a massive hit last year.
I mean, it was okay, but does it warrant a second series? I'm not that bothered about what happens now. I'm not.
Well, there was a nice little cliffhanger, I guess.
But I think because it's now gained popularity and made all this money, they're like, okay, the Westerners want to watch this. Let's make it another one.
Yeah, I think the way they ended it, if it didn't get renewed, that's fine. The main story's been told, but obviously the cliffhanger sets up, I guess, a way to kind of broaden the story, the kind of explore, I guess, the wider world of the Squid Games. Do they happen in other countries? What other kind of former contestants might be now running the show? Who's behind it all? That kind of thing. So I guess there's...
I don't care.
That kind of world building stuff I always quite enjoy. The kind of going into the deeper background on of these kind of things. So we'll see. I'm open to it. I'm not gonna say no.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think I care. That's the thing.
That is also a valid response.
Insight, it is. Okay, so that was Squid Game. What other things? So while we've been off, I've travelled a little bit. I went to Glastonbury Festival. First time since the event, which we will not talk about, and please remain indoors.
The before times.
And I saw some bands that I don't like. I've come back and gone, I waited 2 years for that, did I?
Did you see any that you did like?
Who did I see that I liked? Oh, no, I'm doing that for comedic effect. My comedy course is available. Anyway, I saw a band called Brass Against, or Brass Against, depending on how common you want to be. And they used to be called Brass Against the Machine.
Right.
Now, those who are musos amongst our listeners might understand, Against the Machine, like Rage Against the Machine. And you'd be correct, because they were a Rage Against the Machine cover band with brass instruments and a few guitars.
Okay. Oh, right, okay, right.
At like 2 o'clock on the Saturday, I think it was, or Sunday, I can't remember which day it was, it all blurred into one big day. We were sat in a field listening to banging out Testify and with toot toots and stuff. It was awesome. They were really, really good. She's also the woman that pissed on a person on stage a few months ago. If you wish to Google "Brass Against Pissing Woman," that's her.
I'll pass on that one.
No piss at Glastonbury. But they were really, really good, really surprising. I walked past Paul McCartney's set. I went, "There's a Beatle," and walked off. I went to see the Hoosiers, much better. I saw McFly. I also sat next to McFly in a cafe. That was pretty cool. Didn't go and say hello because they're with their family. That's my rule. I'm a big super fan when it comes to music, but if they're with their family, I won't bother them. That's not okay.
I think that's fair. It always frustrates me when
fans stop you in the road. I get
yeah. I've got shit to do. No, it's no. I kind of don't get. You sometimes see posts or videos or whatever where a quote unquote fan, will approach a celeb who's just out minding their own business not even with the family. They might just be out minding their own fucking business, right? And they might ask for a picture or whatever. And if they just even politely say, "Look, I'm not busy. I'm busy. I'm not really got time," kind of thing. And then they get all shitty about it. And it's like, mate, they're not on the clock, right? They're not being paid. They're out in their own time. Just let them do their thing. And I think, it does annoy me when some fans get huffy about a celebrity not being like, quote unquote, working constantly.
Yeah.
Just ready to drop everything and pose for a picture kind of
I've
thing.
never had that. I know those types of people, but if I've met a celebrity or somebody I deem as famous and I want to meet them, I'm usually big fan, and try and remember some of the work that is coming out just to make them, I kind of want to make myself sound like I'm not just, "Oh my God, I just want to meet you." I do take an interest.
I actually saw, speaking of this, a video earlier today. I think it was a TikTok video, but I'm not sure where it was from originally. Of one of the actors from Stranger Things season 4, which we will discuss later on, Jamie Campbell Bower, and
He's Henry, isn't he?
that's right,
Thank
the
you.
orderly
Thank
kind
you.
of guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's him. I don't know how old it is, where it's from, but he's kind of appearing somewhere, and there's a load of fans around. And I think the one holding the camera says, "Can I have a picture with you?" And he leans in and kind of just says to them, "Look, I don't want to be awkward or rude, but I'd rather not, because if I do one for you, then everyone else will see, and then everyone will want one, and it's going to be chaos, and there's so many
Yeah.
people around." And I just thought, absolutely the perfect way to deal with that is like not saying, "No, fuck off, I'm busy," but explaining what really would fucking happen, right? If he posed for one, he's then got 50 other people that he's got to pose
So
for.
it's interesting you say that. So at Glastonbury, I didn't see him, but this story has happened 3 years apart, twice, right? My friends, the last Glastonbury Festival, 2019, saw Kit Harington.
Oh yeah.
I went to say, "Big fan, can we get a selfie?" And he said, "I am here with my mates. I'll shake your hand, but I don't do that."
Sure.
I heard a couple just in the field where we were sat listening to George Ezra, and they said exactly the same thing. "Oh, we saw Kit Harington. I didn't recognise him, and he said I was from Game of Thrones and I was meant to be impressed." I was like, "Have you slept under a rock? Like, Game of Thrones was quite big. Don't sound so cocky, shitty about that."
Yeah.
But he said the same thing. "I'll shake your hand." And I was like, "That's pretty cool."
That's fair. I think
I
that's
walked past
perfectly reasonable.
Bill Nye
Yeah.
at the train station once, and I texted my other half, said, "Oh my God, I've just walked past Bill Nye." And she went, "Why is the science guy in town?" I went, No, the squid man from Pirates." Oh yeah, it was really weird. He was in town doing press for, is it Their Finest? Is that movie he was in?
Rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, he was in town for that, and I wish I'd gone to say hello, to say I'm a big fan, because I'm a huge fan of Bill Nye. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you see people that you go, "Oh my God, you're famous," in the flesh.
Yeah, I mean, not wanting to name drop, but there was one Christmas a few years ago when I did see Christopher Biggins in
Biggins!
Thornton's chocolate shop.
Oh, I bet he loves the chocolate, does Biggins?
Well, now here's the thing. So he was in Panto in Leeds.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
Oh, yes, he was.
Oh, we're back.
He was buying some huge, big selection boxes to share out with the cast and crew.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Isn't that lovely, Biggins?
Ah,
Isn't that
I mean,
lovely?
Biggins
Shame
probably
he's
earns
turned
some.
into a bit of a twat recently, but
I don't know these stories, so he's just going to be lovely in my eyes.
anyway.
I bet he's
but
a
yes,
Tory.
lovely Biggins. So Glastonbury.
Yes.
Glastonbury. Rammstein, have we covered Rammstein?
No, we haven't, but thank you for segueing into it. I also went to see Rammstein after a 2-year wait, and that was phenomenal! You don't need to know German to enjoy a good Rammstein gig. But I have to say, it was the only gig that I've been to of recent where there's been dickheads, and annoyingly, they were German.
Oh,
and they
okay.
sort of just stood in your personal space. And I'm not kidding, this bloke was like 30 stone. I'm not here to body shame. I want to get that out there now. But if you're that big and you carry that amount of weight and you are over 6 foot, be wary of the vertically challenged people around you. Especially if you're going to start jumping up and down to the rhythm. Because I'm not kidding, if he had fallen on my foot, he would have gone through it.
Yeah.
And he went in a mosh pit as well. I'm thinking, Christ, I know physics. He's going to flatten someone.
Yeah.
So it was a bit...
I'll tell you what, I think it doesn't really matter, to be honest, what size people are. I think, because I think, we said a couple of months ago, I'd been to a couple of gigs this year. The second one, which was Slow Tie, was heaving. And
I still can't believe you went to see him. I'm shocked.
What can I tell you? I enjoyed it. But what I didn't enjoy was the absolute weapons grade bellends who just had no consideration for anyone else's fucking personal space, and were kind of pushed to the front and then jumping up and down, rushing back, rushing forwards. And I don't care whether you're 3'6" or a 7 foot tall, 8 foot wide fucking tree trunk, right? Personal space is personal space. Be aware of your fucking surroundings.
I agree.
And I just think I don't want to sound like an old fart, but it's just common courtesy, right?
Of course there is. I like a mosh pit as much as the next person. I don't do it as much as I used to because I'm older now, I have responsibilities. And I do like a good let go of steam, and it's really good for you, I feel, to let off that bit of anger and bit of energy with like-minded folk. But there's a courtesy, I feel, of gigs that has just started to disappear. A bit like when we talk about going to the cinema. It's different now. It's completely different. My rules are: if someone goes down, you stop, you get them up. If somebody's a bit, I'm not sure, I want to be in here, you go, right, let's get you out, and and you sort of work together with.
Yeah, and in total fairness to Slow Tie himself, he did stop several times to check on people and ask people to move back and give space. And
good for him, because he's been an absolute cock at some award ceremonies in the past.
He has without a doubt, but there he could see when people were being dicks, and he was like, right, stop, everyone move back a bit, can you check on your neighbour, make sure they're okay? And he'd spot a couple of people who were clearly were not happy, and they'd make a path for them to get out, kind of thing, So I think it's good when the act or the band or whoever is aware of that and calling it out.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Even if they have to stop what they're doing, I think that's important. Because there have been deaths, right? Where people have been just crushed and whatever.
Oh, sadly, yeah.
And, everyone's just there to have a bit of fun, but you just get these selfish people who've got just no awareness of the surroundings.
I felt this at Glastonbury as well, which is another reason why I didn't necessarily enjoy it. And it was people just have this level of entitlement now that I deserve to be here, and like there's no thought for the person that stood just minding their own business, and people going through you to get from A to B.
Yeah,
That wound
yeah,
me up.
yeah.
And I have patience for these things because again, I'm a gig goer. I know what to
Well, yeah.
expect.
Everyone's there to let the hair down and have fun and all
If you've
that, and
got
it's
hair, of
like
course.
I've no problem with that. But on the other hand, just be aware of other people around you. You know.
Exactly. Anyways, moving to happier news.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Afterlife has been greenlit as a the sequel has been greenlit. Yay!
Yes. Fantastic. I'm really happy about that.
I
It's
think we
coming
knew it
out.
was gonna happen.
I think we did, but it's always nice to kind of
Have it
get
in
these
writing.
things official.
So what is it? December 23, I think it is, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yes, cool.
And it looks like it's going to pick up from the kind of post-credit sequence from Afterlife
Okay,
back in New York in the firehouse.
excellent.
And it also looks like Winston Zedmore's going to be a bigger character in it as
He
well.
deserves it,
I reckon so.
mainly because
Yeah,
he got screwed out of the first film.
he did. He did. And even the second, to be
Yeah,
fair, he wasn't exactly, given a whole ton of stuff to
I mean,
do.
I think he needs to have a good film.
Absolutely. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they've got it. And
I
it'll be good
assume
to.
Little Reitman will be writing and directing it.
He is, yep,
Well, his
and
dad can't, but
I'm guessing it's the main cast from Afterlife are back as well. I guess setting up business back in Grandad's old firehouse, right?
yeah, but they're like 16. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, but Carrie Coon will be there as the mum, and hopefully Paul Rudd will be involved again.
Yeah, with his welder Oakley glasses, that still tickles me.
So no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they've got a sequel. I really enjoyed Afterlife,
I did too. I did too.
so I think it's great news. Okay, I think that there's so many other bits and pieces that we've missed. There's probably not much point trying to catch up on all the news. But we've both been watching quite a lot of stuff. So I guess
Yeah, I've had COVID. I've not been allowed outside,
yeah,
so I've
exactly,
watched a lot of things.
exactly. So I guess let's cover what we've been watching, review not to a spoilery degree, but just what did we think, etc., etc.
Well, let's start
And
with the
let's
stuff that we've both seen.
go for it. Go on then.
So I'll start off slow. Let's. Kenobie's finally finished,
Yes.
and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was probably my favourite Star Wars series they've put out on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Because I think I said it on Twitter that the prequels were aimed at my generation with all their CG, blah blah blah, and Kenobi picks up that storyline and jumps straight back into those characters. So for me, it was transporting my brain back to being like 10, 11 years old, seeing Revenge of the Sith, and I mean I love Revenge of the Sith. Attack of the Clones, I don't want to talk about it, but Phantom Menace is brilliant as well, in my opinion. I don't care what people say. For my age at that time, it was awesome. And seeing how Kenobi sort of transitions from this, I can take on anything, to this, withered old man that doesn't want anything to do with the Force and with the Jedi, and watch how Vader transforms properly from Anakin to Vader was really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay. In terms of the prequels, I don't know if I've kind of said this on here before, but this is my thing about the prequels, so we'll get it on record just in case. I think the prequels, because we kind of know what's going to happen to Anakin, right? It's not really there's not really any peril or mystery
No,
because we know what happens to him. I think the more interesting element of the prequels is Palpatine's rise to power.
that's also true.
How he moves from as a senator through the political kind of machinations and background wheeler dealing and manipulation of other people to gain his power. And there's a I think there's a line, I think it's in the third film in Revenge of the Sith, whereas Natalie Portman's character says something along the lines of, "This is how democracy ends, with thunderous applause." right?
Right.
Because he's finally twisted everyone to vote in a way that gives him all the power, right? I would have preferred a possibly single film that focused more on that. Partly because I love Ian McDermott as an actor.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think all his scenes as Palpatine in the prequels are just scenery chewingly brilliant, right? They're just delicious evil kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
thing, right? So I would have preferred a film just focused on his rise to power, which Anakin kind of dips in and out of, is almost a peripheral character until near the end. But anyway, I think Revenge of the Sith is a very good film. I do like that. I do like that film. But that's more interesting arc for me over the prequels is Palpatine and his rise to power.
Valid
Kenobi,
point.
thank you. Kenobi, I think, does a really good job of bridging that gap then between those prequels and Rogue One and then the original um, trilogy. I think it kind of. I don't know whether it could have done with being a little bit shorter. It did feel like some of the episodes were a bit kind of padded. Um, but on the whole, I did enjoy it. I think when we first spoke about it, the first couple of episodes had come out, and I'm glad they brought back Camille Nanjiani's character, the kind of fake Jedi who was kind of ripping people off, pretending he was a real Jedi. I'm glad he stuck around. Um, I thought I actually grew to be really impressed by the actor playing Leia.
I did too.
Vivian Lyra Blair is her name, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, she was in Bird Box and We Can Be Heroes. I haven't actually seen her in
Okay.
anything, but
Right. Okay.
I knew she was in that.
Right.
I was impressed by the guy who played the Grand Inquisitor, but also
Rupert Friend.
what's her face? One of the seven. This Inquisitor Reva, Moses Ingram.
Yes.
Holy shit!
I
I mean,
thought
she
she was
faced
fantastic.
some horrendous abuse online
She
for
did.
doing her job.
Yeah.
But
Let's not get into
holy
that.
shit, was she scary?
But she was great. She was. I think she was the standout
Oh, massively. She was
of the
such a cool
season.
character.
Definitely the standout. Yeah, she was fantastic. As I say, Vivian Lyra Blair, who played Leia, at first she was coming across as so fucking irritating, but as the series went on, I kind of I tuned into that performance, if you know what I mean.
I
You
could
kind of
definitely see that
that
it was very obvious that
precociousness.
she was Leia. Very
Yes,
obvious that she was
there
Leia.
was there was the precociousness that is there in the later films, you know. And I just thought, yeah, I thought it was good. I thought some of the visuals were great. You know, where there were some of the fights were lit only by the lightsaber
I loved that,
blades.
and I picked up on that. Although I did find it
Um,
quite dark.
when Obi-Wan went in to rescue Leia from that torture chamber thing, and
Yeah,
it was just pitch black apart from the blade swishing around, just brilliant.
I was just so happy
Um,
to see Vader be an absolute badass.
yeah, and their kind of final battle was interesting. Um, Hayden Christensen, I'm sorry, still can't act.
Eh.
He's so flat. It's just deliveries. Yes, you made me this, mum. Oh God, bless him, bless him.
It's a very rich man who can't act.
Yeah, I wish I was that bad an actor, but just oh God, no. But Jimmy Smith's back again. That was great.
Yeah.
Even Joel Edgerton, because his performance in what was it, episode whenever he was first in it, episode 2 or episode 3, I think that was one of his very first films
All right.
20 odd years ago, right? So to get him back, obviously now he's a far better actor and he's a far bigger actor, so that was great to get him back. And I think it's the same actor playing Aunt Beru as well from the films. So that was great. Yeah, I thought they had some great. I loved Indira Varma as the double agent.
Yeah, yeah,
The
she's a good
spy.
actress.
She was great.
I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. Oh,
Yeah.
and forgive me for not forgive me his name. Ice Cube's son.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. Oh,
He
what a
was good
guy!
as well. I thought even those smaller roles, I thought they filled them out. The casting was spot on, absolutely spot on.
I,
I
I,
thought it
I
was
just thoroughly
fantastic.
enjoyed it
Yeah.
from start to finish. I was
Uh,
happy when it ended because if it had dragged out, it would have suffered. But
sure.
it,
I
it
don't
I
know
had
if
it
I'd
had everything in it that I wanted from it. You know.
I don't know if I'd say I enjoyed it from start to finish. I think the first couple of episodes I really enjoyed. I For me there was a definite dip in the middle, but the last couple really picked it up again. And at the end, it was like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, again, then at the end, we had a couple of little sneaky cameos in there, didn't we?
We did.
We had some more Palpatine, which is always good
Do it.
because I do it
Do it.
because I fucking love Ian McDermott. And what's his chops? Qui-Gon,
Oh, of course. I
which
said from the beginning, we're gonna get Qui-Gon in this, and there was the odd time where he was like, "Master, I need to reach you." I thought,
hmm
"Oh, we're gonna get it, aren't we?"
mm,
And then
mm,
I saw a meme of Liam Neeson stood in a desert with like sunglasses and a brolly, and I thought, "Oh, bloody hell, this has been spoilt for me." And he turned up, and I was like, "But I knew it was gonna happen."
it was not a surprise.
Even from
Not a
episode
surprise.
episode 2 or episode 3, or maybe it's the end of episode 1,
Mm,
Yoda is speaking to Obi-Wan Kenobie, and I've had a message,
mm,
and then Ewan's like, "Oh, from Master Qui-Gon." So even from back
mm.
20 odd years ago, they were always hinting at the fact that Qui-Gon could become a higher elevation. Hello there.
Hello there.
He said that right at the end.
He did. I also like that they didn't go in too heavy on kind of his interactions with Luke,
Yeah, that
be-
was a bit of a switcheroo, I feel.
because obviously in the film Luke is aware of Ben Kenobi, but not as if they're like best mates kind of thing. So I think it was good that they still kept them separate kind of
Because I thought the
for
trailer made
most of
out
it.
he was going to be interacting with Luke, and then it was Leia.
Mm,
Hence why I mean that's how it sounds like it was a switcheroo.
yeah. So what I was reading the other day was that one of the writers on the series, Stuart Beattie, originally Obi-Wan was planned as a film trilogy.
Was it?
Yeah, which Stuart Beattie wrote a script for the first film, which was then kind of retconned into the show.
I never knew that.
So he's credited with story credits on the first couple or three episodes because they use his film script essentially
Right.
as the skeleton of the story, right? So if he'd got a full trilogy planned out, I wonder if, should it get any more seasons, um, they'll then go back to those plans for the other two films.
Okay.
Because he said, when I pitched my Obi-Wan story to Lucasfilm, I said, there's actually three stories here because there's three different evolutions that the character has to make in order to go from Obi-Wan to Ben. And the
Right.
first one was the first movie, which was the show, which was surrender to the will of the Force, transport your will, surrender your will, leave the kid alone. So then the second movie was thinking about where Kenobi ends up. And one of the most powerful and probably the most powerful moment in all of Obi-Wan's story is that moment where he sacrifices himself in A New Hope. So they've obviously got a plan available for at least, I guess, another couple of seasons on how to move the story up to the point of the
Ben.
original film.
Yeah.
They've not announced any more seasons yet, but I'd be stunned if there wasn't another one.
I don't know. I think we've had the, you know, the closure of. I need to stay away from all this of Kenobi and the
Yeah,
rise
yeah.
of the rise to the dark side that Anakin, well, he's no longer Anakin as he says in the show. We've had it. I think it's done.
But again, as he's just said, that would have been covered in the first film anyway.
I know.
So there's clearly more that he had in mind for 2 more films, which I'm assuming Lucasfilm have got, should they want to.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't know. Only time will tell.
So if they said there's going to be a season 2, you're not going to watch it?
I mean, shut up. That's obvious. Of course I would. It's Ewan McGregor. He's awesome. But do I want it? No. I'm happy with how that ended. It's a bit like Back to the Future 4. We'd love to have a Back to the Future 4, but it would just shit and piss all over the brilliant trilogy it was. Right, move on before I say something I regret.
Oh, okay, go on. Touched a nerve, all right.
Oh, leave Kenobi alone. Right, what else is out? What else have we seen? Oh, you've watched all of The Boys.
I did, because we were talking about, was it on our Doctor Strange episode?
Might have been.
And
that was a lifetime ago now.
It was, wasn't it? And you mentioned The Boys, and I kind of shamefully had to admit that I'd never seen it.
Which is okay. That's fine. I've not seen lots, as you know.
That's true. But I did promise I'd watch it. So I did. And I've now, obviously, the last episode of season 3 has just been released on Amazon. So I am now completely and fully up to date with The Boys.
I felt that season 1 was super strong.
Mm-hmm.
Series 2 was okay. This is series 3?
Yeah.
Series 3 I thought was super strong. 2 was a bit it had to do a lot of travel to get the characters where they are in beginning of series 4, but series 4 opens, sorry, series 3 I mean, series 3 opens so graphic and so grim, and it just delivers, and it's graphic, it's gruesome, it's satirical, it's full of parody, and the Homelander is an absolute brilliant villain. You absolutely love to hate him.
Yes. Overall, as a show, I think it's a fantastic concept. I love the kind of, obviously they've got their equivalents of all the famous superheroes. So they've got an Aquaman, they've got a Captain America, they've got a Superman, they've got a Wonder Woman, all that kind of thing. Brilliant, works fantastically. I like the idea that it's all down to a corporation just doing it for money.
Yeah.
Because they can sell merchandise and make films.
Merchandising.
So I just like that it's, it's purely for profit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously
it's all
in the
owned.
In the first season, there's the thing around, making supervillains on purpose.
Yep.
So they can then sell their services to governments around the world, to fix the problem that they've created, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously, like, touching in this season, what if some of these people were in positions of power in terms of politics as well as business? Things around, oh God, I don't want to kind of get spoilery, but
no, I don't think we should.
But I think some of the stuff it covers, some of the ideas it covers, it kind of takes the kind of well-worn conceits of superheroes and
The
just
genre
plays with it.
Yeah.
Really well.
Definitely.
And it's funny, and
it's cringy.
It's violent.
So violent. Like, it is proper comic book violence on screen.
But impressively, a lot of practical effects.
I noticed that.
When you look at the behind the scenes stuff, there's a shot. Is it from season 2 where they're in a speedboat?
The
yes. Speedboat crashes through a whale.
Series 2.
Yeah. And you think, oh, that's CG, right? But no, they built They
Well, no, I
built.
can raise you. There's
Right.
a character in Series 3 who enters another
Yep.
character through an
Yep.
appendage, and
Yep.
I'm watching this going, I wonder if they got an actor to wiggle through that bit appendage. Oh,
No.
yes, they
Yep.
did.
They did. Yep.
and built a corridor of
Yep.
internal penis. Ah,
Just brilliant.
awesome.
Just brilliant. And one thing I did notice, because it was one of the criticisms that I was kind of aware of in general, was Carl Urban's accent.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it?
One word for it. So one thing I did notice watching them all back to back is that over the 3 seasons it has improved.
I'm surprised he can't do one because he's only from New Zealand. That's not exactly
You would
that's not
think
too
so,
far away
wouldn't
from
you?
Britain, accent-wise.
You would think so. The other thing, it's only an adaptation of the comics, so could they not have just changed it to a New Zealand character?
It
So he
wouldn't have
didn't
mattered, would
have
it?
to try an accent, or an Australian character, so at least it may be a bit easier for him.
Do you know what my favourite part in this series was? Is when they do a flashback to Butcher's childhood.
Mm.
And even those two kids, who may or may not be British, their accent is still from the school of Dick Van Dyke English talking.
Oh, they are not British.
It's awful. Call blimey
But-
Billy the Butcher. It's... Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I think brilliant, just fantastic, and again, no spoilers, but the way the season ended with certain characters
Where they end
Yeah,
up is...
where they end up, who's left alive.
Shit's going to hit the fan in Series 4, more than it already has.
Do we know if that's like going to be the last one?
It should be, with the way that this series sort of ends with some of the consequences, let's say.
I think it
got
does
to.
seem like it's setting things up, isn't it?
Yeah. But I just want to add, to draw this bit to a close, still a big fan of Jack Quaid. I think he's wicked.
He is brilliant.
More of him, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's such a fun actor.
I think the only thing I've seen him in is Scream.
See, I'd seen him in The Boys, so
Right.
know.
But he is great. He is great.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, go on then. What else have we got?
What else should we have a look at? Only Murders is back. One of my favourite TV shows of all time. It's back. It's funnier than the first series already in my book.
So good. What
And-
episode are we on now? Are we on episode 4?
Oh God, I don't know, but
It's just brilliant.
I just want it to all be out. I'm itching to find out what's going on.
I know you're not a fan of Amy Schumer, but
Correct.
the way they've used her, I think is great. I think she's very good as a version. I'm not a fan particularly, don't get me wrong, but she's very good playing like a version of her. And I just look. I've always liked how kind of meta it is, but this season, the fact that her character wants to buy the rights to the podcast to turn it into a streaming TV show about the podcast.
Sure.
It's just stuff like that, and there are and can and I don't want to sound patronising, right? But the fact that a writer of Steve Martin's vintage, let's say, is so can be so in tune with like the kind of modern media tropes and habits and so on, I think is very clever. And there's things I've noticed where I think when when the title of the episode comes up, it's like the title on like your Spotify screen kind of thing, right? I think if you look at the time displayed on the episode, it's actually
legit.
it's the actual time that has passed so far, kind of thing. I just think it's so clever.
The episode of Bunny's backstory I found quite sad, and Bunny's last day.
It was, but still really funny. There's bits in that again, it's the performances. You get the casting right on stuff like this.
It's quality.
it takes care of itself then, doesn't it? You
One
know.
thing I found, and I said to my other half whilst we were watching it, in the first series, I felt Steve Martin wasn't really being like a Steve Martin type character. He was miserable, he
Mm,
was quiet
mm.
until towards the end. In this one, I feel he's Steve Martin straight away, and I'm
Yes.
enjoying
Yeah.
that more.
Yeah.
Even in Father of the Bride, he's not this silly, loud character,
Mm.
but he's a bit bubbly.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Martin Short is just Martin
Oh,
Short.
it's fantastic.
There's every now and again I can hear him slipping into his character from Father of the Bride when he goes all big and verbose, and I
Yeah.
forgot his Franck. Franck. There was a scene he's acting. I think it was in series 1 where he's doing a play and he does an accent. And my other half
Yeah.
looked at it, that's Franck. And I went, what do you mean Franck? She went, you've not seen Father of the Bride. And then we had to watch both of them back to back over a weekend. But it's quality. I wish
is.
Disney Plus moved to a Netflix model at times to drop it all, because
I
I'm just
know,
eager.
but then you'd watch it all, and then what would you do?
I'd move on to the next thing, Mark. There's so much to watch.
I think it's such a great show, and I think we said it when we talk about the first season, is that you can tell genuinely that Steve Martin and
Martin Short.
Martin, that you can tell genuinely that Steve Martin and Martin Short love each other. They're
Oh yeah, they've worked together
great
for this long.
friends, and they do stand up stuff. They've done so many things like on stage together and films and things, and they bounce off each other perfectly.
And
And what?
throwing in Selena Gomez, who
Yeah,
I can't say I
because
know much of her pedigree, but she's holding her own in this cast of big legends.
I think that was one of the big surprises of the first season, because I don't really know anything about her, and at first I thought that's an odd combination, but
Yeah.
I think because she's got that kind of millennial kind of sarcasm thing perfect, which is a great balance to their old school kind of delivery and attitude in terms of not just their actual performance as actors, but the characters' style as well. And she fits right in. She's the a perfect fit with those two old guys. Is this young character who's like dealing with a couple of old granddads kind of things? Like she's the grown up
Yeah.
and they're the excitable idiots kind
Herding
of thing.
cats.
I just thought, oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You're right. I think it is one of my favourite things,
Yeah. Agreed.
and I'm
And
so glad
it's
it's
hard
back.
to get good comedy these days,
Yeah,
and they're delivering.
they are.
I like a
They are
whodunit anyway. Like
absolutely.
Knives Out was a fantastic movie, and the sequel's coming to that in December this year to Netflix.
Yep.
And again, that wasn't particularly. It wasn't a comedy. It had funny moments, but it was a good whodunit. Look at Clue, classic whodunit comedy. It's brilliant, and
Yeah,
this one is a classic whodunit with oodles of comedy thrown in.
and it genuinely, you don't know who done it.
Nah,
They genuinely
I'm
keep you
just
guessing,
yeah.
because obviously the last one was wrapped up neatly, and we know who killed um,
Tim.
Tim. Yeah, we know who killed
We
Tim.
still don't know who killed the cat.
We don't. Well, maybe Bunny found a cat killer, and it's the cat killer keeping her quiet.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
You've
Okay.
you've got Westworld's written down.
Mm.
Now, is that airing yet?
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah,
where?
we are 3 episodes in now.
Oh, you're joking. Where?
No, no.
Where?
On Sky.
Ah, I don't have Sky.
I thought you did.
No, I've got Virgin Media at the
Oh, that's a
moment.
shame.
Oh,
Um, it's. Have you seen the previous season?
yeah, I'm a big Westworld fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Not enough to have Sky, of course, but
No. Well, don't talk to me then, you amateur. Um, it's. I think the first season of Westworld is one of the best seasons of science fiction
agreed.
television ever made.
Agreed.
Perfection, perfection. The second season was good.
But it was missing bits of the first. It was missing the anarchy of the first series, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it built some of that background again, a bit of that world building, which I do like. I think the third season.
I'll quote you. I can quote for you there. Pile of wank is what I would describe Series 3 as.
Okay. It nearly put me off the show. I found it a struggle to get through.
I did too.
I
really did. I considered not watching it from, I think, when they started talking about the supercomputer and that it was all being run from here all the time. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, piss off.
Yeah. I think mainly because it was like I just don't see where they're going with this.
It's lost the point of, like, it's no longer in Westworld. It's no longer about it, really.
That's right. But what will I say about season 4?
Right. Okay. So let's pitch it back to me to get me back into it without giving anything away. Maybe that's the way of reviewing it.
Okay. Based on the first 3 episodes that I've seen, then we pick up. I think it's about 8 or 9 years after the end of season 3.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, if I recall rightly, Caleb, which I think is
it's Aaron Paul's character.
Aaron Paul's character activates or whatever Rehoboam, the supercomputer, and effectively kind of resets the world in whatever way that did its thing. The hosts that were left kind of ended up going underground to some degree. And it's now 8 years later. I don't know even if I can kind of put it without spoiling things. I mean, Dolores is back, but not Dolores. She's a different character who is now a storyline writer for a video game company. Does she know that she used to be Dolores, and this is just another character she's performing to stay safe and undetected? Or is this Dolores' body that's with its memory completely wiped and a new personality installed? We don't know yet. Maeve is back. She's been hiding out, laying low. It's still good old Maeve that we know and love. The man in black is back, William.
I realised I've been on mute. I've been going, do you want to stop talking and stop spoiling it? I didn't realise I was on mute. What a dick.
Well, I'm not spoiling anything yet.
No, just stop.
This is all...
Stop.
This is all just stuff in the first 3 episodes. There are familiar faces back. I'll restart that, okay.
No, I've already heard it. It's pointless.
Well, no, for the listeners.
Fuck the listeners. It's for me now.
There are familiar faces
Stop talking. Why are you still talking?
That may or may not be the same characters we've seen before.
Good for you.
Fuck you.
Right, moving on. I'm so annoyed I was on mute.
Watch it. It's good.
Fucking will. I've got a sore Sky. Anyway, I could watch it on Now TV, but we all know the bit rate of Now TV is gash. But we're not going to go into that.
Well, that's true.
Okay, let's again. We're coming up to about an hour, so let's knock through something. Just quickly, I'll have a one line, please, on Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Loved it. Brilliant.
Yeah,
it's the multiverse film that I had hoped Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness would be.
Yes, and that's how you sold it to me. Was if you were disappointed with the multiverses that they went to in Doctor Strange, watch this. And it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Looking forward to watching that again.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good. You've seen Lightyear? I've yet to see it. It's
fine. It's not top tier Pixar, but it's funny, has its moments. Yeah, it was fine.
Good. Good enough for me. Again, okay, right, let's spend the last sort of like 10-15 minutes really going into this now. Again, we won't spoil it, but Stranger Things Series 4 has finally finished. And holy shit, was it worth the investment. It's, every episode's over an hour, and
Mhm.
part one of the finale I think is like an hour 20, and then the finale
Mhm.
is like 2 hours 10 or something like that,
Two and a half.
2.5. And
Mhm.
I did feel the finale was too long,
Mm.
but
Mm.
as an 80s horror fan, there's so many references in that series that you can pick up on so easily. There's Nightmare on Elm Street references, Friday 13th,
Mhm.
Halloween,
Mhm.
and other just like 80s stuff.
Yep.
I loved it. Absolutely
Mm.
loved it. The effects were incredible. There was heavy metal in it. Oh, so good.
It was really good. You're right that first half of the season was epic. I would say not always in a good way. Some of it felt a little bit dragged out, but yes, that last episode brought everything together really well. The setup for season 5, the kind of cliffhanger. It worked really well to get everyone back together in the way that all kind of came in.
Yeah, agreed, agreed.
So it's kind of getting the pieces in place, right, for the final season. So our characters have kind of rejoined,
Regrouped.
regrouped. Um, there's a
I
nice bit of a cliffhanger ending. Interestingly, the Duffer Brothers have said that season 5 will involve a time jump forward a few years.
Are they gonna do like an It thing where they cast the
Oh.
olders?
Oh, so they have a dual storyline going on.
Well, possibly, but if they're doing a time jump, they'll do like they did in It. They cast the older cast,
Yeah,
and they, like you say, yeah, you see bits of the younger stuff, and then in chapter 2, don't you see the older stuff, and they sort of flip between the two.
that'd be a cool way of doing it because obviously you could kind of jump forward a few years because ultimately they've got to jump forward a little bit because some of the actors are just looking old, way older than the characters now,
I
right?
thought this bloody
So I think
Will's fooling no one with that 5 o'clock shadow.
exactly. I think the basics are just like they need to because yeah, they're just they need to. But they could play with it a little bit and do it style, where they maybe have a kind of story split across 2 time periods.
That's what I think they'll do, to be honest.
Yeah, they could do. That'd be interesting. Um, so
It was great. I loved it.
yeah,
I'm
going back to
I'm
season 4,
yeah, looking
I
forward to
thought
the next bit.
the one thing I think just kind of took its time was the whole Hopper storyline, getting him out.
Ah, I'd agree.
That I felt dragged. I think that could have been told. I know it needed to. I know the ending of it needed to line up event wise with everything else that was going on, but I would have maybe not started that bit of the story quite so early, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Maybe if they'd have left him until maybe halfway through the season, and his bit then could have felt a little bit more urgent and pacey.
Yeah, he got
Um,
stuck quite a lot, and then had to keep going. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't
do
matter.
you know what I
It
mean?
doesn't matter.
It felt a bit spread out. It felt a bit thin, spreading his bit out over the whole season. It lacked a bit of urgency. If they'd have left him until say halfway through and then kicked off his bit, because the ending needed to line up in terms of what he was doing events wise.
I actually really, really, really liked his reuniting, his moment of reunition. Reunite. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Reunition.
My COVID brain. When he reunited with Elle, I really, really
Yes, that
enjoyed
was
that. That was
great.
lovely.
Don't get me his bit, his storyline. I thought was fine. I just thought it dragged a bit. I loved the. I keep forgetting the guy's name. The guy who's helping Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
Sorry, help me.
Murray.
Murray. I
He's
love his
brilliant.
character. I love his character. The actor's brilliant.
His kung fu stuff was so
Yes.
fun.
Yeah. I thought he's great. I liked him pretending to be the Russian pilot,
yeah.
while the Russian pilot is gagged and
Yeah,
like
I forgot. At the time, I was like, "Why is that guy walking around with a mask?" I completely forgot
that
he was gagged under there. Like,
that whole bit I thought was brilliant. Right,
oh,
I loved the guy from Game of Thrones who was playing the guard.
again, a casting I didn't clock until I see somebody, the person I watched it with, who sat next to me, my other half, was like, "Oh, I know who that is." It's like, "Who is it?" It's from Game of Thrones, the man of faceless man. I was like,
That's it.
"Oh yeah."
So I loved the actual that storyline itself. Part of it, I did really enjoy. I just felt it could have been compressed into fewer episodes.
I completely agree. I completely agree.
You know?
It was a great story for
Yeah,
getting where they need to get.
yeah,
The effects were brilliant.
yeah,
Pacing, like you say, could have sped up and chopped
yeah.
up a bit. But in the sense of drawing Stranger Things to a conclusion, it's set up really nicely now. You get a lot of answers given, but you also get a whole new bunch of questions.
Oh Christ, yeah, yeah. But I do like how you see it all looping back
Yeah.
to the first season, and clearly, it's all been going on all the time without them realizing it, kind of thing. I thought the one that surprised me in terms of characters is the pizza guy,
Oh God. Yeah.
right? I generally really can't stand stoner characters.
No, I swear I don't like Kevin Hart in any of his films. Kevin Hart? Oh my God. Kevin Smith. Fucking hell. Yeah, Kevin Hart, that guy famous for talking really slowly like a stoner. Sorry. Yes, I can't stand that kind of angle.
Um, but I think because of the actor's kind of charisma really won me over.
Oh, really? Okay.
Really, at first it was like long hair, and he's like, "Oh,
Oh,
dudes," and I'm like, "Oh
dude.
Christ, not another one of these ones, right?" But by the end of it, I thought he's actually a really likable
He
character.
was a proper character, a character that was needed as well.
It was because
When
it's
you get
someone
to it.
fresh to the team.
No. I mean, he was integral to the solution of the series.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I meant.
But yeah, yeah. But just in general, I think as a new face and a bit of a different vibe,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
different kind of character. But yeah, just that whole thing of like, how much salt do you need? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, and and
I
and
didn't know they
here we
branched
are,
out
and
to the desert.
my dude,
Yeah, yeah. That
and
was the
and
poshest my dude I think I've ever heard. And you're from Leeds. You're fooling no one, son.
no, but yeah, I was ready to really hate his character. Um, but in the end, I just think I just think the charisma of the performance just won me over, and I
I
ended up
was
really liking him.
I was disappointed the body count wasn't higher than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
However,
and that,
Series 5 can do that.
yeah, yeah, I think we lost because I think again, trying not any spoilers. Most of the character, in fact, if not all of the characters who died, were all new characters.
True. But I thought we were going to get some oldies gone.
Oh, there were a couple of oldie ones who died, weren't there?
Eh.
But but yes, the stakes for the legacy characters, I think, needed to be higher because we had, a really, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, a really popular new character who became one of the main characters in the season, then dies,
Yeah.
right? Which is a shame because that's a character you'd kind of like to see going forward.
I enjoyed them.
But then why? I would have felt a little bit more peril if one of the original characters had died.
Massively agree.
Do you know what I mean? Just to feel a little bit more, oh shit, this is serious kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah. It's a bit like Game of Thrones used to do, didn't it? You know, they build up this character and it's like, no, dead, no one's safe. Sorry. But again, we digress. Nice
But
callback.
on the whole, I thought it was a little bit baggy in places, but by the time the final episode came around, I thought it really worked and ended
Yeah,
really
massively,
well.
massively agree.
And I think it's going to be a couple of years before the next season.
I don't know. Have they given a time frame? I thought they had. I think they're gonna rush to get it out for the kids' sake.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon it'll be next year. Maybe October-ish next year sounds good because it's around Halloween. Maybe. Let's just let's see if we can do a fact check.
I don't think it's been confirmed. Looking on the Forbes article now. No, there's been nothing confirmed. David Harbour
Yaha.
has been quoted as saying he thinks they'll shoot it next year. So they're writing it this year.
What, and shoot it? Oh, so it'll
Film it
probably
next
be out
year.
mid-24.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm ready for it to finish. I've enjoyed where we've got to, but I'm done with Stranger Things now.
Absolutely. But if they can stick the landing, I think it should work out as a great
cool.
show. All right. Was there anything else?
Well, there is. There's loads of stuff. But if we really catch up on the last few months, we're going to be here for 2 hours. Nobody needs that. I don't want that personally.
This is true.
I think that's the main stuff.
I think it is.
We can catch up on the rest of it, especially the likes of Top Gun 2. I haven't seen it yet, so I'll.
Okay.
Thor: Love and Thunder. It's only been out a few days, Mark. We're not cutting edge, as you used to say. Bleeding edge. Sorry.
Okay. Miss Marvel, I think, finishes next week.
Good.
So we. Oh, bit rude.
It's okay.
So we can talk about that one next time.
And we'll do a topic next time. And let's go back to the roots of why you got into this stuff. Let's get into steelbooks next time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Let's do it. We've got all those notes that have been there for months.
This is true. Okay, we'll go with steelbooks. Let's talk about steelbooks next week.
Well, if you've listened, thank you. If you haven't, bollocks to you. We don't care. We're going to do it anyway. Get in touch. Do the usual stuff. We're not quite match fit. We're nearly there.
But we're back, bitches.
Yeah, boy. So
whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's that. Right, the Culture Trumpet Podcast. Whether you like it or not. That's the tagline, isn't it?
Do you know what? I think we've got a new slogan. Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, we're gonna come down your ears. Oh, not like that.
Now then, come on.
No, thank you. But yeah, get in touch. Give us some stuff to talk about. Give us some feedback. All the good stuff. Like, subscribe, share it with your mates, share it with your enemies. I hear they're using episode 4 as a interrogation technique these days.
Oh yeah, breaking down the.
I can't even remember what episode 4 was. Should I find out and see which one they're using?
The Last Revelation, episode 4.
Yeah, but can you remember what we talked about in that?
Oh, I'm just trying to find out.
Because we went with a point of trying to be witty with sequel names of films as the episode titles, and now we've gone to quotes.
That didn't last long, did it?
No, so
no. Actual episode 4. Sorry, season 1, episode 4 was we talked about Star Trek Discovery.
Yep.
Darkness's new album, Hawkeye.
Wow.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
What?
We had a quiz.
Good. That's good for torture.
We talked about fandom.
Oh, perfect device of torture. I didn't even look that up. Excellent stuff. Anyway, we'll see you all next. Well, we won't see you. Why do I keep fucking saying that? We're so far into this now. We won't see you at all.
You'd think you'd have got the hang of this by now.
I don't get it. Anyway, you'll listen to us next time.
I'm surrounded by amateurs.
I just can't get the staff.
No.
Bye.
Bye.